Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine, and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. We're back with a new episode from the heart of Pakistan. Today's episode is very interesting and it is very close to us. Why? Because today marks the 100th episode of Indus Cuisine. Yes, we have completed 100 episodes of our show and it's a very proud moment for me and my team. Why? Because we have really put a lot of hard work into it and we got a lot of positive reviews and people have loved the show, and I would like to thank everyone who has been a part of my team, and I would thank my viewers also. Why? Because without my viewers this show wouldn't have been a success story. Today's episode is very interesting and it's a little different. Why? Because we're doing a very interesting tandoori burger. This is a very famous street recipe from the city of Karachi. And what is a tandoori burger basically? Tandoori chicken is a recipe basically made in Pakistan, which is taken with pita bread or naan bread. But because it's such a success story and it's so delicious, people also started making use of it in burgers. So we'll be making a very interesting street food take on the burgers in Pakistan, which is known as the tandoori burger. The ingredients are very simple and easily available in the market. You need around half a kilogram of chicken boneless, which is basically resting in the fridge over there. Why? Because it's too hot and humid today in Islamabad, so we do not want the meat to go bad. Apart from that, you need some lettuce. You'll also be needing some coriander, which we shall use in the end. You need a few eggs, around 4 to 5, depends how many burgers you're making. We have chicken for at least 4 to 5 burgers, so we'll be using 4 to 5 eggs, 1 egg per burger. Then you need 3 tomatoes and 3 onions. Apart from that, the spices which we shall be using are very simple and easily available in the country or outside also. You need some coriander powder, you need cumin seeds, you need red chili powder, turmeric powder, and you will be requiring some salt. Apart from that, you will be needing some ginger and garlic. This recipe will be made in 2 parts. How? Why? Because you need to marinate the chicken first, remember that. So for that, what I'll do first is I'll change the board and then we shall start cutting the chicken. So you need to make fillets out of the chicken. What I'll do first is I'll cut the chicken into 2 halves. I'm using a filleting knife, and first of all what you'll do is you'll take the undercut out. Why? Because for the burger you won't be using this part, you want to make fillets, and for the fillet you just take this part out. You can obviously save this part and use it later on in any other recipe. Why? Because this is the most tender part and the most easily cooked part in the bird, which is basically chicken for today. What I'll do first is I shall just make fillets, but for that I shall just place it like this and push my knife down and slowly and gradually cut the chicken. We'll be making around 4 to 5 fillets from the total amount of chicken we have today. Slowly and gradually just keep going on, and this is done. So we have 3 fillets from this, and we'll take out another 3 from this one. Always make sure to maintain the size of the chicken. Why? Because it needs to be equally thick so that it basically cooks evenly also. We need to marinate the chicken for at least an hour, and if you have proper time and proper, you could say, preparation time, you can put it down for 6 hours in the fridge. Now we have all the fillets. What I'll do is I'll save this one on the side and we shall prepare the chicken masala mix. It's a very easy mixture. For that we need a bowl, and I shall bring the bowl and then tell you what to do next. So you need a bowl. For that, what you will do is you shall add around 3 tablespoons of yogurt. Then we'll add around a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then we'll add 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1/2 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of coriander powder, and that's about it. Now what we shall do is we shall pick up this board, keep it on the side, and bring the vegetable board in front. Now why do we need this board? We need this board because we need some ginger and garlic. We need to shred around 2 pieces of garlic which will go into this. So I'll just slowly and gradually take 2 big pieces of garlic, shred on the grill over here, and keep it on the side. Now just shake it up, pick it up and toss it in the bowl over here. When this is done, we'll take some ginger and finally shred the ginger also. You need around a teaspoon equivalent of the shredded ginger and garlic. As you can see, this is equal to 1 teaspoon. I'll transfer all of this over here. Keep this at the back because we do not need it anymore. And now we should just mix everything in the bowl all together. So start mixing it and fold it properly. When this is done, what I'll do is I'll bring the chicken, which I've kept at the back, and I'll toss it in over here. Now mix this up and let it rest for at least 1 hour, and if you do not have an hour, at least give it 10 minutes. Why? Because the more it will spend time in the sauce over here, the more tasty, the more delicious the chicken will turn out to be. So you have to mix the chicken properly, coat it all around, and keep it at least for an hour. But if you do not have an hour and you're really hurrying into the whole procedure, at least give it 10 minutes. But let me tell you one thing, if you give it 10 minutes, you won't get the best result possible or the best flavor. Why? Because the tender chicken will only happen when the yogurt basically starts disintegrating it, which is also known as marination in the normal language. What I'll do is I'll let this rest on the side, and then I'll tell you how to make the red sauce we shall be using in this recipe today. So as you can see, I've put the chicken for the marination time. It will take some time, but apart from that, what will we do? As you know, in the West, whenever we make burgers, we use mayonnaise and we also use tomato ketchup. But in Pakistan, we make the red chutney sauce ourselves. We do not use tomato ketchup for the burgers. What do we need for that? For that, we need a frying pan. I'm also teaching you how to make a chutney in this recipe. Why? Because it's a part of this whole process. Increase the heat to full and just add around 4 tablespoons of oil. When you add 4 tablespoons, bring the whole pan to heat, and till the time that's heating, what we shall do is we shall take around 2 medium pieces of garlic, take my chef knife and just press it over here like this. When it's done, finely chop it and then add it to the pan. Slowly and gradually, it will take you a long way, remember that. Turn your knife and just make sure each and every piece is done super finely. Clean the blade, scoop it up and just transfer it in over here. When this is done, what I'll do is I'll take around 3 tomatoes. I'll keep them over here, and I'll take the food processor and place it over here. I shall just take the eye of the tomato out. Why? Because that's the most tough part of the whole tomato, and it takes a lot of time to disintegrate. Transfer all of this over here and just turn it around so that you can properly cook it. Now just reduce the heat to 0 and let it rest on the side. Do not overcook it. What I'll do is I shall just process the tomatoes into a super fine paste without any water just for now. As you can see, the tomatoes are done. I'll just take the eyes of the tomato, throw it in the bin, and now what we shall do is we shall pick up around a single piece of onion. You can see the roots over here. The root basically is taken out. You cut it like this and then finely slice it. Turn around. Now just bring the pan over here, increase the heat to full and transfer all of the onions into the pan. Cook the onions till they're completely translucent, and till the time we just make this translucent, what we shall also do is we shall add just another pinch of salt on it so that the texture of the onion starts changing super quickly. So what I'll do is I'll just take a pinch of salt, mix it up, and cook the onions until they're super translucent. So till I'm cooking this, we'll go for a short break, and once we're back from the break, I'll let you know what to do next. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Indus Cuisine. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim. Akhund. During the break I just waited for you, and as you can see the onions are nicely translucent. So what I'll do is I'll reduce the heat to 0 completely, and I shall bring this and place it over here. Now what do we need to do? We need to add all the fried onions into this. Why? Because we want the perfect flavor to come out. So what I'll do is I'll just bring the onions on the side. I'll put this over here so that you get a clearer view. Press it so that the oil comes out. And then slowly and gradually I'll take it out and I'll transfer it over here. So what I'll do is I'll take another spatula and I shall just pick the onions very carefully. I'll transfer all of them into the tomatoes. And then we shall process them until it converts into a super fine paste. Which is done. Take the lid off, transfer all of this back into this. Why? Because the tomatoes are still raw, you must remember that. Take a spatula and sauce out as much as you can. Why? Because you do not want to start wasting anything in the jug over here. So I've transferred everything over here. Now keep this at the back. You don't need it anymore, and cook this until the tomatoes get a nice rich thick texture. Mix it up, fold the oil in. Now what we shall do is we shall just add a little bit of cumin seeds, a little bit of red chili powder, some turmeric powder, and just a little bit of coriander powder. When this is done, we shall mix it up on high heat. And add around half a teaspoon of salt. This is done. Now I'll place the lid on top and cook it for at least 5 minutes. Remember, you must keep the lid on. Why? Because otherwise the sauce will evaporate and you won't get the best texture possible. I'll keep this over here, reduce the heat to 0 and convert this to medium-low heat. Now this is done. Now what I'll do is now I shall start cooking the chicken and we shall start assembling the burgers. For that, what do you need? Bring the pan to heat and then continue. For that, what do we need on the side? We need some ginger. I'll keep it over here. Cut this part, keep it on the side, and make thin slices. This is done. Now what I'll do is I'll add some oil in the pan, around half a cup. Keep this on the side, you don't need it anymore. Take the ginger, place it in. Why? Because I want the oil to have a nice infused ginger flavor. Pick up the garlic, place it over here, and just cut it into half from the center. And now place the garlic also over here. Just keep an eye over here that it's cooking properly. As you can see, it is. Keep the lid on. Why? Because you don't want the sauce to evaporate too much and change the color completely. Now what I'll do is I'll place the chicken over here and add it to the pan. As you can see that the oil is sizzling. You want to cook it properly. We shall add the fillets in, just in the oil. Spread them out. And this is done. Now what I'll do is I'll give it a lid and I'll let this cook for at least 3 minutes each side, and then I shall take the lid off. So till I'm just cooking, we'll just clean up and then I'll show you what's the next step. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Indus Cuisine. So as you can see, the sauce over here is ready. What I'll do is I shall just keep it on the side, on the grill, and the chicken is cooking. What I'll do is now I shall change the side. Why? Because it's been 2 minutes now. and you don't want to overcook it. It needs to be cooked on high heat. Just make a few holes in this, or you can also say puncture it properly so that the chicken cooks through and through. Now we'll give this another, let's say 5 minutes. I'll shift it over here, place the lid on top and reduce the heat to medium. So now cook the chicken for at least 5 minutes more with the lid on. Apart from that, we need a bowl, which I'll keep over here, and we shall pick up around 4 to 5 eggs. So what I'll do is I'll take 5 eggs. I always keep the eggs in water. Why? Because I wash them first and then I use them. I'll place them over here and we shall crack them and then we shall whip them. Why will I whip them? The reason behind me whipping these eggs is because I want the eggs to basically convert into an omelette, which I shall add into the recipe. Now what will go into this omelette? This is a Desi omelette. It's also called the Pakistani omelette. I've basically made around 3 things for this one recipe. I'll just discard this over here, rinse my hands first and then continue and tell you what to do after this. So what all shall go in the eggs? What I'll do is I'll add just a pinch of turmeric, a pinch of red chili powder, a few cumin seeds and some coriander powder. This is done. I'll keep this on the side. I'll keep the fork over here and pick up some fresh coriander. Pick up the coriander, place it over here and finally chop it. Turn it around and go super close. So this recipe basically has 3 recipes included in it to make a burger. Why? Because whenever you talk about Pakistani food, it's always not very simple. Now just come over here and have a look at the chicken. The chicken is cooked properly. What I'll do is I shall take the chicken out and rest it on the side momentarily. So we shall take a plate, which I've placed over here, and start taking the pieces out slowly and gradually. Remember, do not overcook the chicken. Why? Because if you overcook the chicken, what will happen is that the chicken will get super tough. Slowly and gradually, it will take you a long way. Remember that. The chicken pieces are ready. It's slightly brown. That's what we need. And now remember, do not throw this oil. Why? Because this oil has all the flavor. I'll also just clean the counter as we basically keep cooking. Why? Because it's always good to keep your station clean. Why? Because if you keep your station clean, you can always avoid cross-contamination and you will go a long way. Reduce the heat over here. On the other hand, you can see the oil is piping hot. What I shall do now is I shall just whip the eggs up. And when we talk about the Pakistani omelette, do not add too many things. Keep this on the side, let it rest, and we shall pick up a tomato and place it over here. Now you might be thinking, what is he doing with the tomato? I shall take half a tomato, cut it like this, and make small pieces. All of this will go in the omelette. Things in Pakistan are super rich when it comes to food, and it is filled with flavor. Now just mix it up. Add half a teaspoon of salt. Mix it nicely. And increase the heat to full and add the egg over here. Keep whipping it while you add it. Now while it fries, what I'll do is I'll just pick the pieces of ginger out. You can keep the garlic in, but take the ginger pieces out slowly and gradually. I want the egg to hit the ginger so that the flavor basically enhances. Remember that. Now this is done. We do not need the bowl. I'll keep it on the side over here in the sink, and we shall just deep fry the egg the way it's done over here. Now what I'll do is I'll give it a lid and I'll let it cook till the time it gets nice and fluffy. And now I'll show you the final look of the recipe when I start assembling it. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching Indus Cuisine. So as you can see, today's episode is done, and with today's episode we have completed a total number of 100 episodes of Indus Cuisine. This has all been possible because of you, my fans, my viewers. Why? Because you loved the show, you gave a positive response, and that's why we kept going on. We shall keep going on forward also, and soon you shall see some more things and some more different locations on Indus News. I'll see you in the episode of Indus Cuisine. Have a wonderful day and keep watching my show and keep loving me, and I love you too. Take care, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.